menu.
Folks, welcome back to another exciting episode, well, not really, of Magnus's Loot Crate. I'm your host, as always, Magnus Deacon. I've got some nice little Legends figures here for you. We're going to take a look at these. I'm going to try to do the 3 and 3 like I did in the Mixed Nuts episode, but I'm going to try to probably stick with just one type, Legends or Masterpiece, just depending on which episode it happens to be. So without further ado, before I start, I need to mention once again, there will be a link in the description for Magnus's Loot Crate Discord server. Join us, why don't you? With that out of the way, let's get into these figures.
Something's approaching from the south.
Here we go, folks. This is Iron Factory's IFEX30 Cygnus. I got him from TF Source. He does have the repro labels on him. And what can I say except for this is a very, very nice figure. I mean, he was one of the first ones where they started adding the extra hands in to the figures. And well, he's just a gorgeous figure as far as I'm concerned. He looks enough like Skyfire, as you can see from the little cartoon thing. The only difference you'll probably notice is that with the repro labels on, he does have some more darkened in spots, but he's still a great looking figure. Basically all the repro labels added in was a little bit of color here and there, blacks and reds and things of that nature, but he is a very gorgeous figure. He's nice and posable, and all those red pieces that you see, I think except for the piece on his back that holds the jet thrusters on, is removable. So you can kind of give him more of a, I guess you could say a au naturel sort of jet mode. But folks, he is definitely a good looking figure. Let's go ahead and transform him up and take a look at his jet mode.
You forget, Starscream! I can transform too!
Now here's his jet mode. Now the repro labels, as you can see, added some red to the nose cone. I may remove those just because they are kind of unnecessary. But otherwise, what can I say? He's still a gorgeous figure. I mean, he's got the thrusters on the back part. Now it doesn't really look that much like the jet mode from the G1 cartoon, but I've stated this before and I'll state it 1,000 times. The jet Iron Factory does more of an IDW Comics stylization to these bots. So, for a Skyfire figure, he's gorgeous. I mean, the jet mode looks close enough for my tastes in Legends. Now, if Magic Square or somebody else comes out with a more G1 look to Skyfire, I'll probably get it. Otherwise, I don't see any reason to get rid of this figure. I'm going to keep him regardless. I mean, I've said it before in my placeholders. He might be a placeholder. I don't know. For right now, he is my Skyfire. And he looks good in a group of Legends figures. He's kind of the right height. He has that presence. So, I really don't see any reason to get rid of this guy. It's definitely going to keep him regardless. So, that is IFEX30 Cygnus from Iron Factory. He was $64.99. Why don't you pick him up? Because he is definitely a good figure.
think you're gonna eat those words on a silicon wafer.
Now, folks, when it comes to Legends figures, I'll admit, be a little finicky in some areas. But Toy World, this is definitely a nice Legends version of Wheeljack. This is TW-GS02, I think. Picked the wrong font again. I'm looking at it on my screen just to talk about it. But yeah, this is Whiskey Jack from Toy World. I think I added an E where none actually existed. But it's Whiskey Jack. Fine. He was $30 at the Chosen Prime. And he's definitely a great looking Wheeljack figure for one so small. He scales fairly well with most of my Legends figures, I have to admit. I'm more into the Legends, not Legends Plus or Minus, but any Legends figure, to be honest with you, is a good figure in my mind. And he is definitely a nice looking little representation of Wheeljack. He's got the shoulder cannon, he's got his little pistol. Now, Wheeljack is supposed to have red rims, and mine is one of those. I don't know how rare they are, but mine, if you can tell, you can just look at the wheels on his legs and his arms and tell it's got yellow rims. Which, from the animation model, you can see he doesn't really show off his wheels that much. But yeah, the car he was modeled after had red rims, so red rims. But no, he's definitely a gorgeous looking version of Wheeljack. So how about we transform him up and take a look at his race car mode. So folks, this is Wheeljack. This is Toy World's Whiskey Jack's vehicle mode. Now you can tell from the animation model. Honestly, on the animation model, the wheels are black. The original car, the rims were red. This one, they're yellow. I don't really think it makes that much of a difference because just look at that vehicle mode. Now, it's probably hard to tell from the quality of the video I take. Now, I record it in 720p, but I don't think I've managed to get the lighting quite right. But if you look at this vehicle up close, they have got perfect representations of all the sponsor logos from the original race car. It looks gorgeous, to be honest with you. And let's face it, the overall look of the car mode is a good one. I mean, he looks the part. He's got the Wheeljack flavor as far as the vehicle mode. He's got the bot mode down to almost to a science, and he is a great looking figure. So go take a look online, see if you can find your Toy World's TW-GS02 Whiskey Jack. Like I said, $30. That's not bad for a figure like this, and he is a very nice little Legends figure. So go pick yours up just wherever you can find him.
Just turn me loose, Prime. I'll sniff 'em out.
Now folks, this is one of the latest additions to the Magnus' Loot Crate roster. This is Iron Factory's IFEX-38 Optics Hunter. He was $32.99 on the ShowZ store. He was kind of out of stock in a lot of places where I went looking for him, because I was like, you know what, I need a Legends Hound. And he definitely, in robot mode at the very least, he looks, I guess, close enough for me. He's got the gun, he's got the shoulder mounted cannon. So he at least in robot mode, he looks good enough for me. Like I said again, Iron Factory is a lot of the IDW stylized from the comic books. So he doesn't really fully fit the G1 mold. But I can't complain too much. He's still got the overall Hound look. So if somebody's looking at your collection, he's still got the Hound look well enough that people will be able to pick him out in the crowd, just like anywhere else. So that is definitely a good looking robot mode. So let's transform him up, and once again we'll take a look at that Jeep mode.
Easy, like this.
Alright, here's his Jeep mode. Now this is where the rubber really meets the road, because he doesn't look like the Willys style Jeep, which is what he was modeled after in the original TV show. But I think I can give it a pass, because he's definitely got the Jeep look, if nothing else. He's not quite the right olive drab color of green, I guess is what it's called, olive drab. I'm not really big on colors, so I don't really pay that much attention to what they're called, but that's what I've heard. It's called olive drab green, but he's more of a brighter color of green, more of a brighter color, dark green. I'll get it right sooner or later. But Optics Hunter is definitely a nice bot, and just fiddling around with him, he's kind of interesting to mess with. If you're that kind of person that you like to mess with your bots. I do, just out of pure boredom. Yeah, I'll carry some here in the truck with me, just have something to do. So that is Iron Factory's IF-EX-38 Optics Hunter. You can pick him up, ShowZ, Chosen Prime, TF Source, wherever. And he is definitely a nice little bot. So go ahead and pick yours up whenever you get the chance.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
Greetings, Magnus Corps! Welcome once again to another Loot Crate, and of course this is a little interlude and ad about me, the giant shiny red robot. No, I'm not a Transformer, well, only when the moon is full and then I turn into a storage building. Yes, that's right, I'm a warehouse. Anyhow, come see me and my friends and the occasional miscreants and occasionally even Magnus on the Late Show, where I, your host with the almost, offer you a plethora of shitlords, the occasional shitlass, and the shitheads in the chat. Come see us bullshit about everything, politics, topics, nerddom, you name it. You'll never know what the hell's going on, because neither will we. Every Friday night at 11 p.m. Central. Come see the Late Show and join us for merriment, horror, and confusion.
We now return to the Transformers.
They call me Hoist.
Folks, I'm not going to lie to you. As far as the great scheme of things goes, this was kind of planned, because the bot before this one was Grapple. So, of course, Magic Square, I just got this one too. This is one of the newest bots in my collection. This is MS-B10 Crane, Magic Square's version of Hoist. I don't think I got his gun hand pulled all the way out, but still, I think he's hoisty enough, don't you? I picked this one up off the ShowZ store because I saw the deposit. It took a little while, but he just came in. This is MS-B10 Crane. Hoist, I definitely like the overall look of this figure. Now, much like all the newer bots that they do come out with, he does have interchangeable hands for his actual hand. He came with a little hammer hand, a couple other odds and ends, but oh no, this is a great figure. My only gripe about this figure, to be honest, is the eyes are like kind of dead and lifeless, because they're the light piping style, and I stinking hate those. They do not look worth a darn unless you have a light angled just right to shine through the back of their head. Then their eyes look actually lively and lifeful because they're lit up. But I'm not really a big fan of the light piping. I have to say it honestly. But other than that, well, let's transform him up and take a look at that tow truck mode.
Say no more, Prime. Let's go, Grapple.
Okay, so here we go with his tow truck mode. Honestly, he looks really, really nice. I hate that my camera didn't really capture the best quality for this. But other than that, you can just tell by looking at it that it's kind of got the Toyota tow truck look that it's supposed to have. It's not perfect. Now I did add his little, the little thing from his back onto the truck mode, and sometimes when I transform him, I'll refer to the actual animation model to be like, well, what are they supposed to look like in vehicle mode? So, but oh yeah, no, he's a pretty good looking vehicle mode, and being that most places will make a hoist from the Trailbreaker mold, this one's actually its own independent mold, which it really impressed me, to be honest with you. But he does have the overall hoist look. He's pretty nice little little tow truck, and I have to say I'm definitely still a fan of Magic Square. So that, folks, is Magic Square's MS-B10 crane, $35.99, and well, there you go.
One more connection hoist, and my solar tower model will be finished.
Now, folks, this is, as you guys know, I loves me some Magic Square, and this is Magic Square's MS-B01 Architect. Now, he's sort of a 1 out of 2 remold. Now, because he is B01, I'm guessing he was the first one they made. But for $34.99, he is definitely a great little representation of Grapple from the G1 series. He's really nice looking. He's got that Grapple look and feel to him, and he's definitely worth picking up. So, oh yeah, I really like this one because he's got when he's in his crane truck mode, he looks good. We'll get to that here in a minute, but if just from looking at him, you can tell he does have that overall feel of Grapple to him. Now, I think the only thing he's missing is the little pistons on his legs, but I don't think that would be hard to overlook or even rectify if you decide you want to just make a couple of little pistons to put on his legs just to complete the look for the cartoon mode, because I definitely like the way he looks in robot mode. He's highly posable, which a lot of the Magic Square figures are pretty surprisingly posable. That was kind of what sunk me into the Legend Sphere to start with. One of my first was Magic Square, and just getting a good look at how the things are able to pose, and they have ankle rockers and all the good stuff that we know and love about these bots. Definitely worth picking up. So we're going to go ahead and transform him into his crane truck mode and take a look at that. Alright, folks, here we go with his crane truck mode, and that is definitely a good looking crane truck. I mean, as you can see, he's got the part in under the crane where you can stick his gun just to keep it out of the way. But oh no, he definitely looks nice, and he's definitely got that crane truck look from the cartoon. It's not 100% exact, of course. I don't think anything ever could be 100% exact, but they do a masterful job of getting it pretty darn close as far as I'm concerned. Now, just so you know, I'm looking at the video as I'm talking about it, and I think I kind of mistransformed the cat at the top of the truck. Yeah, it kind of the little part that flattens out is down. I have a tendency to miss these things, but it's enough to give you the idea. He's definitely a good looking crane truck, and as you can see, he is pretty small. I've got the lighter floating around on the turntable with him. So, but he is definitely a great looking little crane truck. And in one of the next episodes, I'll show you the other mold, which is their version of Inferno. But for right now, folks, this is MS-B01 Architect. He's $34.99 at TF Source. Might be a little bit cheaper in other places, so take a look around and see what you can get. And that, as they say, is that.
Well, I'm tired of sucking their vapor trail. I'll stop it.
Now folks, here is yet another new addition to the Magnus's Loot Crate folio of bots. This is New Age's H7 McCoy. Now, they made it pretty obvious that one is a remold of the other as far as their Ratchet and Ironhide goes. But this is the one where they make it just a titch too obvious. This one is definitely the remold, which I have no problem with that because Ironhide and Ratchet have always looked the same. Their vehicle modes are the same and everything. But this one was one where they made it just a hair too obvious because this H7 McCoy, as you can see in the picture, he's got the little blowy hand, you know, that the Ironhide has, you know, where he blows out goop and glue and whatever the heck else, liquid nitrogen. He was just like the Autobot's ultimate MacGuffin of, I've got a gas that can take care of this situation. So, but now you may be thinking to yourself, okay, Magnus, what's the joke? How can you tell that this one is the remold? It's simple, because when I opened the package for this, when you saw the box at the beginning of this clip of the video, you might have noticed there's a little divot in there for one of the pieces that they included with Miller, but not with McCoy. That would be the extra head. So this one did not come with the extra head, and he did not come with the blowtorch hand. He came with the little goo blowing hand. He came with the other extra hands like the spread hand, the pointy hand, the two gun-toting hands. So he doesn't have the blowtorch, he doesn't have the extra head, and here's another thing, he does not have the little ambulance light bar, which Ratchet, if you remember the New Age version of Ratchet, he had his little light bar hanging off of one shoulder. McCoy just has a painfully obvious hole in the top of the van where the light bar is supposed to go. Speaking of that, we'll go ahead and switch him over to his van mode so you can take a proper look at it.
Stop talking, tighten your shock absorbers and get in.
Alright, so here is McCoy's van mode. As you can see, it is a very nice representation of the van mode that Ironhide had in the show. So it is a very nice looking van mode. The Nissan Cherry Vanette, I think they call it. But he has a very nice looking van, and he has all the right shape. He has the sort of a little bit darker windows than the Ratchet version has. Which I can't argue with that because it does make a nice distinction between Ratchet and Ironhide. It gives them enough of a different, I mean, as if one being white and one being red wasn't enough of a difference already. Yeah, but it does definitely separate them into the individual bots that they are. But yeah, I think this is definitely a great little van mode, and he's definitely very nice looking. He'll, as I said, New Age kind of does more of the Legends minus, where they're just a teeny little bit smaller usually than others, but oh no, he still looks like a great Ironhide. So that is it, folks. That is New Age's H7 McCoy. I think that's pretty much all I got to say about that. Folks, thank you for stopping by Magnus's Loot Crate once again. I hope you had a fun time taking a look at my bots that I've picked up over the last little while. Now, I'll be honest with you, things are kind of slowing down here at the Loot Crate, but I've still got plenty of bots that I need to record on the turntable so that I can show them to you. Well, we'll just have to see how quick I can get these done, because these are the ones that I do when at home. That's why I have Loot of Tomorrow and the discussion videos, is so I can keep something going. But I will try to put a couple more of these out in the next week or so. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, give it a like and share. Subscribe to the channel. And I will see you folks next time.